It really means that we're looking at how do we create career pathways into high-paying technology jobs. We know that Miami is growing. We know that there's a lot of excitement about companies coming here, but we want to make sure that there's jobs available for people, that they can get sustainable wages, that they can find some place to live, and that they can stay, live, grow, and be happy here.
So we have an incredible group of people who built one of the most successful pilot programs over the last year. I want to welcome to the stage Johannes Quiles, who's one of our grant program managers with Miami Tech Works. Reginald Andre, who's an amazing chair of the Small Business Capacity Building Work Group. Paul Polo, who, he already knows it, so I'll share the secret. He's going to get an award later today for his work. And Alberto Mujica, who's one of our startup founders, who's been a very active member of the coalition. We're going to talk about talent solutions for small businesses. Welcome to the stage, gentlemen.
Well, thank you, everyone. What a warm welcome. I hope that's what Usher's going to feel like at the Super Bowl on Sunday. We'll see. All right, well, thank you so much for joining us today. As Karen mentioned, yes, these are the leaders of the Small Business Capacity Building Group of the coalition, and it's been a successful time. I'd like to start with Reginald Andre. Andre, tell us a little bit about why you chose to be the chair of the working group for small business capacity building.
Sure. So as a small business owner, I have a cybersecurity and IT company. And about a year ago today, when you guys had your first meeting, I always saw that there was a huge need. One of the things as a business owner that I try to do is hire from the schools. But then there's always a gap where the student, he's going to school, he looks on the website of the college and says, oh, wow, if I get this 2-year program or 4-year program, I'll make $50,000, $60,000, $70,000. And they followed all the instructions, they do the program. And then now when that student comes to me, I look at their resume, and yes, it's great that they have the 2-year program, the 4-year program, just the certificate, but they've been working at Publix or Macy's for the last 5 years and they have no experience. So one of the, and therefore I can't pay them $50,000, $60,000, $70,000. And of course, with the cost of living here in South Florida being so high, they want to, they want to get out of their parents' home, right? They want to move out and try to start their own life. And from there, because they can't get the dollar amount that they're looking for, they end up now leaving the state and going to other states that's going to pay them. So it got so bad to a point where we had to start hiring overseas because we couldn't find the talent and be able to afford what we could afford as a small business. We have about 10 employees. So when I saw what was happening here with the Miami Tech Works, I was like, we got to help fill that divide and that gap that's happening now because there's a big discrepancy between the student, the employer, and the educational facility.
Thank you, Andre. And you brought up your business. Could you tell us a little bit about what you do?
Sure. So we are a cybersecurity and IT support company. So businesses that can't justify or are too small to have a internal IT service, they call us, and from there we provide their risk management, cybersecurity, and IT.
Thank you so much, Andre. All right, I'd like to turn our attention over to Paul Polo. Paul, you've been instrumental in the work that we've done here in the micro-internship program with the Small Business Capacity Building Group. Tell us a little bit about what you do and why you chose to go in this direction to lead this project.
Awesome, yeah. So about 2 years ago, we started a pilot program with the FIU Honors College connecting students to companies through micro-internships. We saw a huge gap in students having that real-world experience, connecting, networking, being ready for that first interview. And we're replicating some of the success here with the Tech Talent Coalition through the small businesses. 50% of employees are employed by small businesses, but only 20% of small businesses have more than one employee or have employees. I think if we help small businesses at least hire 1 or 2 more people, those numbers can quickly change. And small businesses tend to hire local, so that it just backs up the initiative that the TTC is all about.
Thank you, Paul. And you were instrumental in bringing the platform that's being used for these micro internships to the Miami Tech Talent Coalition. Could you tell us a little bit about that partnership?
Absolutely. I want to give a shout out to Annie in the back. She's wearing the Parker Dewey shirt, representing Parker Dewey. We thank you so much for your partnership. Parker Dewey is the nation's leading micro-internship platform. They've been around for 7 years. They make it as easy as possible for employers to reach talent. There is no cost to partner for universities. Right now, they're giving us full access to the DeLuca grant, which they run. Any company here that's hiring, any employer here, has access to 5 projects for 15 hours that pay the student $300 each. The payment piece is very important because that is another initiative from Parker Dewey. They want to end unpaid internships where it makes sense. And it's truly available for everybody. The student benefits, they get that resume. Macy's Publix looks great because it shows that they worked through full-time school, and that is the story of a lot of most students here in this community. Full-time work, full-time school, and they're pushing other initiatives, extracurriculars. It's only fair that they get really cool projects on their resume that's going to give them better bullet points during that job interview.
Yes, and let's please give a hand for Parker Dewey. They've been such wonderful partners in this process. Thank you. So now we shift from the planning stages over to the actual implementation stages. And with that, I introduce Alberto Mojica, and he's the managing partner for Scale Up Legal. Alberto, tell us a little bit about what you do at Scale Up and why you chose to go in this direction of the micro internship for your business.
So I'm an attorney, and our firm specializes in working with small businesses and startups. And before I go into all of this, I have to thank Reggie and you and Paul for putting together such a great program that I've been able to take advantage of. And here's what I have to say about the program. We were able to find students that had great potential, but had no actual experience, for example, in actual hands-on things like AWS, HubSpot, real actual tools that small businesses are using. But the willingness to learn, and with the fundamentals that were given to them by the great schools we have in the area, FIU and Miami-Dade College, etc. And I was able to give them an opportunity, a chance to develop those skills, put it on their resume, so that then they can either I hire them, which I have, or I release them into the wild where Reggie can hire them, you know? So it's been a great program. So back to what we do. We help startups figure out how to grow. Right? We help them structure their corporations. We help them raise capital. We help them structure an offering to raise capital. We help them prepare their IP. We help them do all these things, but we're not an IT shop, right? Although I'm a systems engineer and a data scientist. I used to be in the IT world, but we're not an IT shop, so we need businesses like Reggie's to be well-staffed. We need the occasional IT staff ourselves. And this has been great. So I want to thank them. I want to thank the Miami Tech Talent Coalition for doing a great job with that. So.
Thank you, Alberto. And we're not just done there, because we have a little surprise for you. We couldn't leave students out of this equation. It's important to see how we are going to impact them. And so the students had to be in class today, so they couldn't join us on the panel. But we did get a video from one of them, Nicole Dini, a student at Miami-Dade College, who's going to tell us a little bit about her experience working for Alberto's company, Scale Up.
Hi, my name is Nicole Dini, and I just completed my first micro internship with Parker Dewey and Skill Up Legal. So I was basically in charge of content creation for social media. This means like creating posts for Canva, for the Instagram stories, regarding like events they had, or any little thing that they wanted me to post. I had to create a post about it. So in essence, this internship allowed me to kind of get into my creative side. In essence, it also helped me build up my professionalism, especially in the Zoom meetings and the emails, and also the tasks. I had to be responsible. I had to keep up with deadlines for the post for certain events, have the content already done. Besides that, communication was incredibly well with Alberto and Chantal. Chantal was the one in charge of me basically doing all the content, and she was great. So besides from that, it was a great learning experience, and I would definitely do it again. Thank you.
That was so sweet. I didn't know, so that's fantastic.
Oh, well, it just goes to show you with the right mentorship, what this program can do. We can see what the students are actually experiencing on the other end. So we thought it was important to include that in this panel. And so I'd like to shift the focus over now to how to move forward, right? I'd like to go back to Andre. Why should small businesses get involved with the coalition? You know, we have all these working groups, and from your perspective, why do you think that the small businesses should join?
So when you look at comparing Miami to San Francisco, Chicago, New York, as far as tech, we're fairly new. This is all new for us. This room here and all the great work that's done, this is not happening every day or every week compared to these other cities. So if we're going to talk about Miami being the tech hub, we ourselves, our leaders and business owners, we have to help the younger generation. So for everyone listening, I would say give back, because the only way we are going to make South Florida a real tech hub is if we start today. And the way it starts is by joining coalition and your network. We can only, our LinkedIn accounts and things like that, we can only go so much. But if now we can get just, 1 hour a month we're doing our meetings, it's going to go so much further.
Definitely, and it's important to keep going further. And with that, Paul Polo, would you tell us a little bit about how educators and employers can get involved and how an employer can host a micro-intern?
Absolutely. So I jumped the gun a little bit, talking about the opportunity there for the DeLuca program. But we welcome all employers, all companies. We would love to help you scope out a project. We would love to help you see what kind of talent there is in the local universities. Hopefully, you can use this as a great recruiting tool as well. It could be a paid interview, as we like to call it. There are several ways to structure this that can help you, and it won't affect your bottom dollar. So please reach out to any one of us, anybody at the TTC. We would love to help you get started with your first project.
Thank you, Paul. All right, and as we do get started, I'd like to hear from Alberto to see what perspective he can give to small business owners. What would you say to small business owners who would like to get started and kind of are apprehensive about taking that first step?
I would say it's extremely valuable. When I got involved, I wasn't sure what I was going to get out of it, or if it was going to be another show and tell, we've done, and nothing happens. But as I continued to remain involved, I saw with, Terry and Karen's fearless leadership, your participation, I mean, things are getting done. And things are improving for Miami thanks to this coalition. Businesses are getting resources, including mine. And for me personally, it's been getting to know all of you. And that's been very rewarding. And so I would tell to other businesses out there, giving back and participating ultimately is so much more rewarding than what you have to put into it. So I would say you're going to get a whole lot more out of it than what you put in, but still go in and put in, because it's worth it. It's great. And I think it's great for the business, for the people, and for the city, and everybody involved. It's a big win-win-win. So that's my experience.
Big wins. And with that, Paul, any last words from you about this program?
I would say that micro internships are a tool. They do not replace regular internships, apprenticeships, every other initiative that is going on in Miami. It is just another tool that you can apply to however your recruiting needs are, your job needs are. It's project-based. There's always a deliverable there, but it can lead to longer-term internships. We've had students do a micro internship, prepare their LinkedIn account, get their resume in order, reach out to career services. Those are the first kind of baby steps to be prepared for that job interview with Andre or with Alberto. They'll be much better off. Thank you.
For the last words, Reginald Andre, as the chairman of the Small Business Capacity Building Group, any last words?
Give back. If you know anything about me, it's always about giving back.
Thank you very much. And that's our panel.